So I'm up here around the town of Thonotosassa, northeast of Tampa, about 12-15 miles, near a large lake, Lake Thonotosassa. And Thonotosassa is the Indian word for place to find flint. And there's that, and then there's Flint Creek nearby. I've been on Flint Creek in a kayak. It's a nice trip. And I've been reading a report by a woman, Joan Deming, from the Southwest Florida Water Management District back in the 70s. And in that report, she was doing an archaeological and historical survey for the proposed Thonotosassa bypass canal. It was going to bypass a portion of the original Hillsborough River to alleviate flooding in the town of Temple Terrace in North Tampa. And thank goodness they didn't build it.
Because this is what it would have looked like.
So she studied a swath about 12 miles long by about a mile wide, and in that study she identified, I think, 13 Aboriginal, not really villages, but evidence of Aboriginal concentrations, like maybe short-term encampments. There weren't any signs of any ceramics, pottery, anything like that. Just a lot of what they call it lithic scattered stone tools. And those stone tools are made of local flint, typically. So I'm not going to any of those sites. I'm not a professional. The last thing they need is some hack in there digging around in a sensitive site like that, because most of them are just laying dormant. They're under citrus or pasture or something like that, and it's just letting them, kind of letting them be. But I am up here looking for the flint, just for the heck of it. I don't got nothing to do with it, but and I'm taking some public land up to a couple of tributaries, kind of almost a confluence between what's called Cowhouse Creek and Flint Creek, where they connect to the Hillsborough River. And in that seam in there, you can find on the river and in the creeks you can find exposed Hawthorne layer and Tampa layer limestone, and that's where the flint occurs. Flint is what they call a cryptocrystalline, a microcrystalline that they believe that it moved through the porous layers of the limestone almost like an ooze, like a toothpaste of just millions of years of silica, marine skeletons, microskeletons. And then, solidified into a glass-like cryptocrystalline. And what kind of makes a flint, or a chert really, is a kind of a conchoidal fracture. A conchoidal fracture is like when a BB hits the glass and pops that cone out on the back. Well, there's no fissure in the stone. They're microcrystalline, so there's no break lines. So they break like glass, and that's how the Indians would chip away the edges and get them serrated edges, and just ultra sharp and ultra hard. When a flintlock rifle creates a spark, it's not the rock that's sparking; it's the hard rock hitting the metal, the steel, exposing iron to oxygen, and so the thing you see burning is the microfragments of steel. But anyhow, so it tends to hold up, over the eons well. You can find it if it's there. Everything else kind of erodes away and decomposes around it, so it tends to be exposed. And you can see also in the lime rock where it may have been mined, like for instance pockets, large pockets, because it was some sort of ooze at one time. It would fill these voids and form nodules. So the outer crust will be kind of grayish and crusty and ugly, and you bust it open and you see the glass like flint. So I'm going to get up here and just go along, try to get up along that river there in that lime rock edge and just see if I find it. The reason I'm here is because, first of all, it's public lands. I can travel. I need to travel maybe 12, 16 miles through here, but also it's very hard to find in heavy vegetative cover. I mean, it gets covered up. But when you have a path, either a game trail or a cow trail or jeep trail, or especially an eroded bank from a stream, that's where you see it. Just it's exposed to you. It weathers really well. It doesn't deteriorate. It's ultra hard. So you don't really think of Florida when you think of Flint, but it's here, and I'm going to see if I can find it, and maybe find some decent specimens of it. Just get out of the house, really. have something to do. So I'll take you along with me, and we'll just see how it goes. All right. So I brought the mountain bike so I can cover some distance, but I'll probably be stashing it and hoofing depending on. I know there's a power line through here that hopefully, if I can get on it, I can cover some miles. So we'll just see how it goes. I'll check in with you later. So I'm off and running, and so it's a pretty good uphill right here. But I'm just going to cruise along and just keep heading that direction. Eventually, I'll come to a power line which I can follow for a pretty good ways, I think. That'll get me close to that Cowhouse Creek at the Hillsborough, near the Hillsborough River at least. Maybe I can move up down the creek, I don't know. But I've been in that area in a kayak, and you do have exposed lime rock. Whoa! But anyhow, okay. Well, I'll keep on moving, and I'll just check in with you a little later. This looks like some kind of, I don't know, I'll get down there, but it looks to be a man-made excavation. Pretty deep, probably 8-10 feet deep. I'll get down there and take a look, see what it is, but that's a good place to look. Anything exposes edges is good. Well, this is certainly man-made. I mean, it's straight as an arrow and probably 10 feet deep. But these are just giant, they're just kind of like giant dirt clods, really, and that's what the whole bank is, just that kind of compacted sand, clay sand is what it is. But I mean, there's a 30-inch pine growing out of the middle, so it's been here a long time. Don't know what it was, could be any sort of thing. But I'm not seeing any. What you want to see is where this is lime rock, and that's been exposed, and then those nodules of flint will protrude. They don't weather. I mean, you could certainly hit them with an excavator. It probably could have been a steam shovel or something like that. Who knows? But yeah, but there's no lime rock here. That's why we're going to go try to get to that creek where the hydraulic erosion over time will have exposed it. Hopefully. I mean, who knows? We might not find it. I don't know. But I'll just keep on going. All right, check in with you later. I just had to stop in here because hear them tufted titmouse all in here. There's probably 30 of them. The problem is they get quiet when you show up, and then they'll get going again. But you hear them all up in there. This is something you don't see that often. It's called hen's eye or coral. I think it's arcacida, something like that. Coral arcacida. It's a hen's eye. It's Look at all that fruit. It's an invasive. It's a really kind of an antiquated invasive. It's popper 100 years ago, but it's so prolific. I mean, all those seeds drop. It stores nutrients in its roots. So when this area burns, that'll come up immediately. And you know, when that plant dies, there'll be 1,000 of those seeds around to take its place. So it tends to push native plants out of the way. Yeah, there's a good one back there. So sometimes when you see plants like that, you tend to find old footings or chimney foundations, or some indication of a homestead, because that was kind of a landscape plant. It's illegal now. You can't propagate it, sell it, do anything with it. So I don't see anything back there though, but you don't see that often. All right, let me keep moving. So here's a sinkhole here, and you kind of think that this would be a place to see it because of the eroded edges, but typically sinkholes where the layers above the limestone collapse, so they don't always expose the limestone, and that's where Flint lives. It's typically here anyhow. It's not going to be in like a sedimentary layer above the limestone. It's in the limestone, kind of like if you took a porous sponge and soaked it in like a concrete slurry, or plaster of Paris, something like that, and then pulled it out and let it harden. When the sponge material eroded away, what you'd be left with is nodules of the concrete. Well, that's how Flint works. That's how those Chert, actually, that's how Chert works. The microcrystallines. But I'm going to check it out anyhow. But typically, you want to see eroded exposed limestone. So let's just go check it out anyhow. Kind of see what I'm saying. See, the edges are just just the sandy fills above it. That's the part that collapses over the limestone. You see hear them cardinals back there just going nuts. It's that time of year. But yeah, so you don't see any lime rock here. It's cool looking, but yeah, it's not where you're gonna find it typically. Anyhow, we keep going. Here's another one here, a little smaller. Look at that gator down there. You see that guy? Down there. That's probably, let me see, 6 foot or so. I'll get a better view, but it's the same thing. You can see the sands, in the edges there. It's just there's not a good outcropping. But I'll zoom in on that gator and then keep moving. It is a smaller sinkhole. This one's smaller, but it seems like the walls are more abrupt. So maybe it's newer. But it's hard to say. But okay, let's look at that gator and then we'll go on. I don't harass him in any way. I'm not going to make it move for the camera or nothing like that, but it's pretty cool. Just sitting there minding his own business. I'm going to do the same. All right, check in with you later. Here's another example of that, like these naturalized plants that, they're naturalized, they're certainly not native, but like this penguin bromeliad, just points are just deadly. But there's 3 or 4 of them in this little clump, but we're pretty good ways from anything right here, and so it's just some indication there's probably these are remnants of an old homestead, around the turn of the last century, 1900, something like that. These are very common, very popular, planted, fence rows and stuff, because you couldn't get a dog to go through that. And they're real easy to propagate. They're actually edible, I think. But they're just deadly. But yeah, it's not something you see, just native, you know what I mean, just out there. There's some sort of remnant of something back here. I haven't seen any kind of footings or nothing, but that with the coral acacia back there, those are typically planted a long time ago, and people haven't planted in a long time. These, I think, you can still plant. I don't know if they're considered invasive or not, but yeah, still something. I haven't seen anything yet, but It might. All right, I'm keep on going. Talk to you later. So it's getting later. I keep stopping things. I gotta keep on moving because, you know, I'm not gonna see anything in this territory I'm in now. I was kind of keeping my eye peeled for signs, and it was kind of sketchy because these trails are built and maintained for by and for kind of the Red Bull crowd. So, but as I got closer to the spot, the sound of the trail changed. I got kind of a crunchy, glassy kind of crunch under my wheels, and then sure enough, this is what it looks like. You know, just kind of scattered on the ground like this. I don't know if you can see it, but there it is. And that's sharp too. God, that edge right there is just sitting on the top of the ground for who knows how long. Now the hogs will get in here and stir it up, going after whatever, you know, whatever feral hogs go after. But so turned it up, but still it's been very near the surface, and this edge there is very sharp. So it's kind of really dispersed here. I'm sort of surprised. It's sort of scattered about. You see the little white pieces, but and typically what you're seeing is the outer shell of the nodule. When you break it open, that's when you see the chert, the flint. But man, that edge right there, if you pulled that across you, just it'll definitely cut you. Both of those edges are very sharp. And you get that, what I was hearing, you get that sound. You know, I like that sound. But yeah, even God, this one too. I mean, this one, you could do some cutting with that. It's amazing. But there's signs of that, you know, that conchoidal break. You know, it breaks like glass, like a BB on glass. That cone that comes out. There's no fissure. There's no seam in these. So it just breaks in that conchoidal shape, that cone shape that you get those serrated edges. But man, it's pretty sharp. But I'm gonna look around here a little bit. I'm gonna keep going because this is kind of scattered out. It's a pretty good area of it. But I'll tell you something else too. Most of the way I was riding, now I'm probably 3 or 4 miles back now, but it was level across the trail, whereas now it's really detectable. You can see the wall of kind of broom straw in the background there, and that line of salt palmetto. It doesn't like to get wet. It doesn't like to stay wet, salt palmetto. It'll stay dry. So we're definitely in. It's sloping down. I'm not sure exactly where I am. I haven't found that Cow's Creek yet, but it's probably, I'm guessing it's that way because it drops probably in this little scene right here. It probably drops 5 feet, and that makes sense. That's where you're going to see it. This has been eroded by that floodway. I'm sure it gets here, maybe not every year, but pretty close. And it'll just take the fines with it as it goes, you know, until it exposes stuff. But this stuff's just sitting on the surface here. You can see it right here. Yeah, see that? Down there. Right there. But that is definitely, that is the stuff. Look at that. There's the inside, there's the outside. But that's what I was hearing under my tires, that kind of glassy crunch. But so I'm gonna keep moving. So the creek is definitely that way. I'm not sure where this trail keeps going. I'll look, but I want to head that way. I know I do, just by what I'm seeing here. So I'm going to mark this with a GPS just in case I can maybe tie them all together when I get them. But there it is. There's some of it. This isn't like a mother lode where it would bring a congregation together to manufacture tools, but it's sign that it's definitely here. So it's getting late too. I got to get going. Got to get moving. It's going to get dark. Okay, I'll check in with you later. Well, I've made it now to the power lines, and these will take me as close as I can get. I mean, they cross the creek. I don't know that I'll be able to cross it, but I know these power workers, get to these towers. So hopefully there's a continuous path. I think that Cowhouse Creek is maybe too big for a few culverts like the power company typically put in. They typically don't put in little bridges in their easements either, so they would just go at it from two different directions. But this is kind of cool here. These are little orange milkworts. They're kind of like a bachelor button, but they're real orangey color. And you can see they're all through here. It's kind of cool looking. I don't really like disturbing them little gators. I didn't actually see it till I was on top of it. But this is what I'm talking about. This is what I was looking for. This, I'm sure this is Cowhouse Creek. I'll get a GPS fix on it and check it. But I'm real sure. But anyhow, so this is what I'm talking about. Look at this right here. There's that strange little outcropping right there. The shape of that thing is due to that ooze filling pores that have since washed away. And you bust that open, that's going to be chert on the inside. So just look at these fragments. I mean, my goodness, look at this thing. Golly, I mean, that may be an actual flint. I don't know. But look at that. Look at that. That's pretty damn sharp too. I don't want to make any speculation. I have no idea, but that natural shape is pretty close. They'd have to practice too. They'd probably be kids down now. You can kind of see somebody sitting here. There's a snail shell. They can sit here, eat snails, and practice making arrowheads. But that's I think I'm trying to get that in the sun. I can't really do. Look at that. That's just a shard of some sort. I think I interrupted that fella's lunch. Look, this water's real clear. It's muddy. Kind of muddy looking, silky, but I don't know if you can see it. Fish on the bottom there, about 2 feet deep. It's real clear. It's got all kinds of silt floating on top of it, but I can see straight through it. I don't know where that gator went, but he's gonna be mad because I took his spot. It's not very big. But it's all through here. Look at that. Look at the other side. And this is a good example too, because you can see the chert, little bundles of chert across there, and then the lime rock. See the exposed lime rock? It's probably the Tampa layer. It's going to have a lot of sea life embedded in it. Evidence of sea life. And you can't see it, but under those that cotton, whatever that is, that cotton ball plant, you can see the lime rock there too. It's just a sheer wall of it across there. But that's what I'm talking. And that's what you didn't see in those sinkholes we went by. That was the sand. The lime rock's beneath it. It went into solution and caved, but it doesn't generally expose the lime rock like these do. And that's all chert. All those bundles there are chert. You can bust them open and make flint. But I don't know. I'm gonna mess around here for a little bit and we'll get moving. So, we saw this piece here, but here's a nice piece too. I just kind of washed it off in a stream, but that's that conchoidal break there. That edge right there, it's sharp. It's sharp. It's been sitting here in the exposed, and this one was at the mud line, but you see that concave feel there where that spall just came right out of there. It's a nice gray, smoky gray, little bit of a amber hue to it, real translucent. That's nice stuff. This would make a nice I don't know the shape they'd be looking for exactly, but that the aggregate would be nice. The composite. This one is unbelievably sharp. That piece right there, I could cut myself easily with that. You gotta be careful, but look at that, just come right out of the ground like that. And let's see if we can. There it is. Yeah, that's the stuff. That's what they were looking for. My goodness, that edge. that edge is impressive. Impressive. You could see why it'd just be so valuable to them, how they learned to, learn to manufacture the tools they needed from it. But I just love the sound it makes. It's like having a couple of marbles or something. That's the stuff. That's what this area is known for, is Thonotosassa, the Lake of Flint. I think it technically means place where you can get flint. All right. Here's some nice little white top down here. It's a sedge. Sedges have edges. It's not round. It's got edge to it, but it's akin to that nut sedge you get in your yard and can't get rid of. So I wouldn't want it in my yard, but it looks cool out here. It's got that star. I think they call them white tops. They got a little star pattern. Here's a bunch of it right here, right by the bike. I didn't even see it coming in. So it's cool looking. Right next to it. I hope you can hear that. It's a red-eye Vero. It almost sounds like it talks to itself. It does. It sounds like it's talking back to itself. And they're way up. They get up in those trees, man. They get way up there. I've seen them, but I've never seen them low. I've seen them, on a limb. They got those. They got the yellow-eyed Vero here too, in this area. Yeah, it kind of talks to himself. I hope you can hear that. It's a red-eyed Vero. This trail is just lined with it. Just lined with it. And again, here we are with the creek. I know where we're at now because I just found the creek. So I came out off the power lines and took the first trail in, and it looks like it's parallel. Golly, so sharp, man. It looks like it parallels the creek, and this still falls off. I'm gonna get like a GPS. Look at this. This is almost like a sodium. It's cubic. Look at that square. I'm not speculating at all, but this is the way that typically that they would work. They'd find a nice dense piece of it and then break off, and the tool. No, I don't know. It's just that's kind of the way sodium chloride breaks in little tiny squares. But these don't have fissures like that. These don't have the weak bonds. That's that cryptocrystalline. Golly. I mean, that thing is so sharp. It's pretty too. Kind of nice little mocha look to it. Look at this. Let's see. You see that? Huh. So I'm going to kind of mess around here a little bit. There's nice plants in here too. It's a nice spot. This stuff's just all over in here. And and what you see is how the concentrate is. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if, you know, just that way is that real dispersed field I've found, but this one is much more dense. I mean, they're just laying on top of the trail, right on top of each other. So that may be the edge of a, you know, larger nodule, but that's the creek right there. I can kind of see. I can't see water, but I can see where I think I almost see the other bank. But you know, we're definitely in the floodway. So you won't find the evidence of any kind of settlement or any kind of scattered tools or anything like that here, because they wouldn't camp here. This is, it may not be wet every year, but it gets wet. So even though they're not permanent settlements with pottery and foundations and things like that, they would be encampments that they would use. And I imagine what they'd be doing is taking either maybe finished pieces back, or pieces ready to make several finished pieces, because this stuff's about the density of a bowling ball. I'm thinking if you had a piece about the size of a bowling ball, probably 8-10 pounds, maybe 12 pounds. So you know, you wouldn't be hauling that back miles, because where we are now is probably elevation. I'm guessing probably about elevation maybe 20-25 feet above sea level max. And where those settlements, encampments actually, where those armadillos, sounds like a bear, but where those encampments are typically in the range of like 45 and 50. The concentration, see there, the scattered tools and what have you. And so that alone tells you that that's semi-permanent. It's not, you know, they may have bivouac down here. This is about enough elevation to get this creek, this river, Hillsborough River, the 12 miles, 15 miles it has to go as the crows flies to Tampa Bay, down around, you know, sea level. So, and it's flat enough in that distance, that many miles, that it will flood if it's, you know, if it gets a lot of rain up in the, you know, high end of the basin. So you just don't see a lot of permanent existence here. You know, this is come maybe hunt and get some flint and get on out of here. So I'm going to look around a little bit and just, because there's a lot of nice plants right here. I'm going to just check it out. The coffee is everywhere, but it is really wilted. We haven't got any rain, but you don't see coffee wilted that as it likes the shade. But yeah, we'll look around a little bit and see what I see. So this here is it's a nice little Ilex vomitora, just like you'd have in your, just like you might have in your yard. Pretty little native Ilex. But here's all that coffee, just kind of, it'll come right back, but my goodness, it's just, look at that, it's just really drooping. But it'll come back. It likes the shade. It likes the shade here. It likes the shade at your house too. But and I've never done it, but it does produce a bean that you apparently can roast and turn into kind of a coffee. But I've got a I put that other spot in my GPS, and it's right over there, not very far. I'm gonna hike over there a little bit and just see. And it does kind of make sense. It's not very far, maybe a few hundred yards, but you can kind of see how this floodway kind of meanders. But I don't know. I don't know about that. It's getting kind of late and stuff. But all right. Well, I'm gonna kind of move on out of here, and I might head that way if I can, but I might go a few hundred yards, see what I see. But okay, I'll check in with you later. Well, I'm kind of in the bottom of kind of a creek bed between those two sites, so I can see where it heads back up. And yeah, he's getting an answer now. That's pretty loud for a tiny bird, tiny little bird, tough to titmouse it, man. You can hear them. So I'm gonna head back to where I left my bike, because that's what's happened. Is there's some sort of other tributary that in between the two. So, all right, I'll check in with you later. Well, this is a nice little spot, but I need to get going. It's getting late. You can still hear that titmouse. And really, you got them pinned down. Yeah, they've been going at it pretty good now. So, yeah, about 3 or 4 of those. Two that time. All right, I gotta get going. It's late. All right, I'll check in with you later. Okay, I actually got off the bike here because here's another. I mean, I'm probably maybe 400 yards from where I was before, and it went sandy, and then I started hearing that sound again. Frankly, right in through here. But again, one of the other features is, look at this drop off towards the creek down there. Way down there, probably 100 yards down there, it just keeps dropping. I mean, there's probably 6 feet of relief. So listen to that stuff. And there it is. It's pretty sharp too. That's got a pretty, like a bluish, silvery bluish color. But so this area is like I said, it's in the Zephyr Hills Gap. It's the low area where the Hillsborough River can flow between the Lakeland Highland, Lakeland Ridge, and the kind of the Brooksville Ridge north of here. And those ridges both, they'll get up there 150 feet above sea level, but that's pretty high for Florida. Right here, like I said, we're in the 25, and so that Zephyr Hills Gap is where all this green swamp and the Hillsborough River and all those areas are, and it's just real pretty in here. But I gotta go. I want to show you this path though. All right, I gotta get going. It's really late. All right, well, I'll check with you later. Hey. Well, it took longer than I thought, frankly, but I did find it. I found it in a couple of different places, but most predominantly it was just down by the creek. You gotta have that long-term erosion. We're talking millennia. It's nice that the trail exposes it, but it's already at the surface. It's already been exposed. It used to be the seafloor, and that seafloor has been washed away, and then over the next few million years, the porous limestone that covered it was washed away, and that's that Tampa layer and that Hawthorne layer. But I found some really nice pieces. I don't know. I don't have a clue what to do with it, but it might be something I study a little bit and see. I know there's people that have remastered that craft. So I might, why not? I might look into that. But That was the Cow House Creek, Flint Creek, Hillsborough River area, Flint, Thonotosassa, place where you find Flint. We found it. So, thanks for watching.